They're not bad.
They're
They got a
not.
new coach, maybe knows what he's doing, Mike Elko. And
Former defensive coordinator at Texas A&M, and they have multiple former Miami staffers up there as well. So,
like
David Feely, the strength and conditioning coach, what's his name, Jess Simpson, who coached at like Buford, and then he was at Miami, and then he was an assistant with the Atlanta Falcons, the assistant DL coach and everything. Now he's over there. The outside linebackers coach, the Ishmael guy, who was here, he's over there. There might be one other. So like, yeah, there's some familiar names up there in what Duke is in Durham. Yeah. As they come down this weekend, but so it's not just Mike Elko, but I know people are going to say, Cam, nobody on the prior Miami staffs is worth a damn. I respectfully disagree. These are professional people. Now, I know that it wasn't the best in the world, but again, if you go back and look at the pieces that we wrote and the conversation about Jess Simpson when he came down here, there were NFL teams that would go, when they would go to Atlanta or they would go to like a coaching symposium, Jess Simpson was the one who was presenting about defensive line play, right? So they would like go out of their way and be like, hey, let's go talk to this guy and get his knowledge on that topic because he's the best in the business, right? So, and we wrote about it, we talked about it on here and everything. So you can't all of a sudden then go say, well, he's not here, so now he's trash. The other guy, the guy from Orlando, Ishmael, wasn't that his name? I think so. Anyway, he was only here for a year and everything. I can see where you're like, well, we'll see what he does. And I think he's even coaching corners up there. He's not even coaching outside backers. Dave Feely, he was in multiple places, Temple and here and other places as, S&C. So, I mean, and you can tell, by the way that they're playing, like there seems to have been, the S&C program that they're undergoing right now seems to be working for them. Now, am I saying that he's the Cochran dude who was at Alabama, he, is going to set the foundation for a multiple-time national championship program at Duke? No. Is it a step forward from where they were? Absolutely. So as you're watching the game, just think, oh, yeah, there are multiple guys on that sideline who used to be on the other sideline.
Ishmael Aristide?
Ishmael Aristide. There we go. Yes.
Aristide. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, Duke lost all of its conference games last year. They were 0-8, and they weren't close in any of them. They were getting housed every week. I get their horrible metrics confused with Georgia Tech's because they're both coming off just lousy. Georgia Tech was like 13 consecutive ACC losses, 10 consecutive FBS losses.
Yeah.
Duke was somewhere in the same vicinity. But I got to tell you, in my constant prioritizing of games on Saturday, I drifted to the Duke North Carolina game because I wanted to see, we got something going here with about 5 minutes to play.
Yeah.
Duke's driving down the field. They're up by 3. It's inside 2 minutes. They got the ball inside the 10-yard line to ice the game. They can't get it in the end zone. They miss a chip shot field goal. Drake May down the field, touchdown, game winner. And then even after what turned out to be the game winner with like 16 seconds left, Duke actually hit like a 35-yard pass to get them within like 6-7 yards of field goal range, but they couldn't quite get the extra yardage they needed to give it a shot.
Yeah. That was that was a compelling game. It was like, and Duke led for a good part of that game, by the way. So, in my picks league, I picked Carolina to win, but then I'm like, this might, because they were up 2 touchdowns at one point, I want to say. Like it was, they came out real fast. I think it was like 21-7 Duke in that game and everything. So, yeah, they're acquitting themselves well. And that just means, that has to be the goal for them this year, is to be competitive in games. And they're not even being competitive. They've won some of these previous games. And I know they lost by 3 to Kansas, and Kansas was, undefeated previous at the time. That was an undefeated matchup out in Lawrence and everything. But that was, that was a compelling game too. It wasn't, like the defenses on both sides, left a little bit to be desired because they definitely smashed the over in that game. But, a small step is still a step. And let us not forget that in terms of Miami, and definitely not overlook that in terms of Duke.